Yay, we're live! Hey everyone, welcome to the party!
Hi.
Hey Marabella! It's Marabella and
Hi.
Skye here, guys.
So nice to see you. Hi,
It's so nice.
guys.
It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to see you. So I'm so excited for this party, but we're also going to be talking about
So nice to
Earth
see you.
Days.
So I'm so sorry.
I've got, I can hear myself twice.
I had us on the iPad too.
Oh, we're everywhere. Earth Day. You were going to tell us about Earth Day. Is that right? It's not just a full moon party, it's Earth Day.
Yes, it's a full moon party. It's Earth Day. It's the full pink moon in Libra, and I'm really excited because I just happen to be a Libra. And
Oh,
Sky, what sign are you? I forgot to ask you.
I'm a Leo.
Are you Leo? Oh,
Yeah.
Leo Libra combo, air and fire, so good.
Yes,
So
they
good.
definitely are. Some of
Wow.
my good friends are Libras.
Oh, wow, that's wild. Yeah, I love Leo too. I love fire signs. Yeah.
Yes, when you're on
And
our good side, we're not all fiery.
yeah, right, right. So good. Well, today I want to open our space with Palo Santo. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so this is kind of like sometimes people use sage to kind of clear
Mhm.
the space. It's kind of like a what's that called? Not air freshener, but um
Like a smudge? Is it like
yeah, when
sage
you
and you
meditate
smudge?
and you use those sticks, it's
Oh,
kind of like
incense.
incense.
Incense?
Thank you. It's like
Sure.
that. And what I love about Palo Santo is, we were talking about it being Earth Day. This is like a piece of wood. It almost has a citrusy or a maybe a minty smell to it. And it just kind of
Mm.
will ground us in and help us to open the space for our ceremony today. So if I can get it to light, that's always the trick with this. And yeah, you mentioned about Earth Day. That I actually thought it was this Tuesday, but I guess it's next week.
That's all right. We can Earth Day it early.
Yeah.
We can be early.
There we go. So we'll just open our space. And if everybody has their cup of cacao with them,
Yes.
um, it doesn't matter if you have cacao or if you have water, whatever you have. And we're just, how did you make yours tonight? How's
So
yours?
I do it in the blender. So I'm raw vegan. So it's hemp seeds, dates, cacao. I added a little bit of vanilla and I blend
Mm.
that up, slightly warm it. I also sift it through a nut milk bag. And that's how I make it. And as I do that, I set my intentions as it's blending, as I'm pouring it out.
Really good. That sounds amazing. This is just, I don't heat it to boiling, but it's cashew milk, it's
Ooh,
cacao, from Cacao Love. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I love
sure.
that brand. Um, a little bit of maple syrup, some cayenne pepper and cinnamon, and I did do vanilla as well.
I have to do the pepper next time. That spice.
Yeah.
I want chocolate spice.
Oh, it's so good. It gives just that nice little kick, just so delicious. And so we
Yes.
were talking in our last ceremony about cacao being a heart opener.
Yes.
So, and also this is okay to drink on the on Pacific time where it's at 5 o'clock, and some people might be afraid to drink it because it would keep them awake. Um, you can drink it. I haven't had any trouble sleeping on after drinking cacao, and I'm super, super sensitive. So go ahead and have it if you want to. And if not, and you want to go get something else, lemon water, whatever you fancy, sounds great. Do you think we should wait a little bit before everybody is here? Do you think everyone's here to
Sure.
start?
So I can see Jen's on both Facebook and YouTube. I know we've switched over because we were doing this on Instagram, but people are just going to have to get used to it. It's on Facebook as well. So what I was going to also say, we can just do a little bit of talking
Yeah,
beforehand.
okay.
So I was going to say as well that if you don't want to do cacao, you can do carob. You can do tea, you can do water, you can do juice. It's about setting the intentions for the full moon, and the chocolate opens the heart. Like it's a bit of it's stimulating, it's warming. You get a bit of blood flow. There's a greater connection. That's the idea, and it's used in ceremonies like this one. But there's no reason you can't set your intentions with any liquid. Liquid's obviously going to work best. It's kind of like that Dr. Emoto. Do you know Dr. Emoto, Marabella?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, he's that's like something I remember. I was very sick and he changed my life knowing that. So he does the experiment. Let me just put this down for a second so I
Yes,
don't
yeah.
spill it. He does the water experiments where he basically like setting his intentions on liquid, which was just water. And he's like saying to one of the buckets of water, like love and peace and harmony and happiness. And he then puts it in the freezer. He gets another jug of water. He does it scientifically. He's a doctor. And he says hate and negativity and war and mean and puts it in the freezer. And then when he pulls them both out and takes a few shavings from the love jug, puts it under the microscope, all the crystals are like close to the golden ratio. They're like perfect. You look at them and they look like perfect snowflake crystals,
Oh,
like
so beautiful.
perfect crystalline. And then he gets a scraping of the negative water ice block, and he looks at that and it looks like disease, disformed, disfigured, disshaped, looks like diseases in the body. And remember, we're like 70% water. And so it's really about speaking to yourself kindly, with kind words, with love, because you want to be that, perfection, like that perfect crystal, that's
Yes.
close to the golden ratio, and you don't want to start manifesting disease. And so with things like cacao and or tea or water or juice is speak to it kindly, because you're about to become what you eat or drink. So
Absolutely. And you bring up a really great point too. When you're making your cacao or getting ready to drink your water or whatever it is, speaking an intention as you are stirring is wonderful, magic, so good. And I like to do that. I've been working with cacao now for 2 months, and I meditate with it in the morning, or sometimes I'll say positive affirmations and I drink my cacao. And I love to, like say an affirmation, take a sip, say an affirmation, take a sip. It's just kind of a nice way to get those affirmations inside of us. And you were speaking about the water as well. You can take your water glass and you can write
yeah,
something on the side of it.
I'm
Like,
going to
I
get
am
back
love.
into doing that. You've
Yes.
brought up a really good point, because also what you're doing every morning, if you don't even have to do it with cacao, you can do it with juice or tea or food. Some even say food has more of an impact because it stays in you longer. But the more you talk
Oh,
kindly to
yeah.
yourself, the more you're training your brain and your soul and your mind to say kind words, become the kind words, be the kind words. So
Yes.
yeah, so I'm going to suggest we start, because I want everyone's
Okay.
cacao to still be warm.
Okay.
So I'm going to grab mine. Everyone watching, let's do
So
this.
before we begin, does everybody kind of have an idea of kind of last month's new moon and how, or sorry, full moon, last month, and how, like, what went on between last month and this month? Because
Uh,
for some of us it was very challenging. There was a lot of challenging things that came up.
Very true.
And just to let you know that as we go forward, things may be challenging, but it's going to also be the way that we're going to look at the situation, in order to, instead of focusing on, like, the Libra full moon is really bringing up harmony, peace, love. And so when we look at the situation, we say to ourselves, what is the blessing in this? Like, what is the, and so I pulled a card for tonight just randomly. I've been reading these cards on over on TikTok, and they're
Yes.
positive inspiration cards. And so I have one for us. I shuffled the deck,
Yay!
and this came out. It was so perfect. Mother Earth gifts me with abundant blessings. Opening my heart to her awakens happiness and peace within me now.
Oh,
So I thought that was so perfect for our ceremony tonight. So as we drink our cacao, kind of be thinking about the blessings that you want to bring in. And I know that they say that really we're asking for things, or we're trying to manifest on a new moon, but we could say, what can we be in gratitude for? And the more gratitude we have, the more blessings come our way.
that's no true words spoken right there.
So we'll
Okay.
just go ahead and start sipping our cacao. mm. And
Mm.
just savoring each delicious sip. I was so excited to have this tonight. I was like
So was
making it.
I've actually been excited for a couple of days to like have my like chocolate drink and sit in gratitude.
Mm-hmm. So we're in gratitude for all the hands that brought the cacao to us, from the people that pick the cacao to the people that are packaging it and sending it to us, to ourselves, like gratitude for ourselves for showing up for this beautiful ceremony.
I love that.
Mm,
Mm.
so good.
It is so good. It really is. And guys, the more you say beautiful words, hopeful words, loving words, kind words, and sitting in a ceremony like this is just training your brain to always see the good. If you can see the good that out of situations, you will do so much better. Like, even I was just thinking when you said about the last moon, how
Yes.
I found out I'd broken my toe, and I have had a tough month, but I've learned a lot about myself. And I tend to look at things like, oh no, not like, oh no, I broke my toe, like, oh, look what I've overcome. Oh, look what
Oh,
I've learned. Look what's come of this. And I think this is what this is all about.
that's so good. Yeah, I had a situation where I was given something and it was taken away from me. And it
Wow.
was like a death. I felt like I went through a death,
I
and
think that
I allowed myself to sort of grieve. And then I was like, well, I don't like to carry that emotion in my body. What can I do to get past this? Or how long am I going to be in this? I said, as long as it takes, I'm going to allow myself to grieve. And then once I tuned into my heart, tuned into the love vibration, said my piece in a very loving, as loving a way as I possibly could, I switched to, okay, what's the blessing in this for me, and how can I be a support to somebody else? How can I be the blessing and also be a blessing and receive a blessing?
that's right. That's what life is about being in service, is the traumas, the triumphs, the challenges that you overcome. You've learnt from them so you can help others through their challenges, or to not have to face those challenges.
Right.
So it's like facing it for the collective. But I also felt I had like a death and a rebirth this month,
Oh,
like sitting in a space with the broken toe in my parents' home, in a situation very similar, where I'm like helpless where I was before, where I used to be sick and I lived in my parents' home because I moved out while the
yes.
bathroom got renovated. But because I've done so much work, how I saw the situation was very different. It was challenging still, but it felt safe almost. It was hard refacing it, but then I realized I'm safe now. Like, I'm not helpless like I used to be. So, and I felt like I'd come through a battle, because we can tend to go through trauma and be scared of our past. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to be that person. I'm running away from this. Whereas this year I'm really working on revisiting where I've been, with the tools I have now, that it's okay to do things I used to do. It's okay to be in these situations. I'm stronger. I use like nature now. I use, and that this month was a really big undertaking of that.
That would have been, as you were speaking, I was like, you must have been triggered when you weren't able to go to Pilates, and you were
Yes.
didn't get to go swimming and all those things. And it was probably like a flashback to what it was, like you said, when you used to be so ill.
Yes.
And I experienced the same thing. I had total flashback to, and eclipses do that. Eclipses bring back the past. And sometimes in things that we
Wow.
thought that we've healed, we're going through it again, but on a different level. And you'll notice that you will heal quicker. You will get through it a lot faster. And you can almost make a game of it, like, okay, I see this. I see you. It's coming back again. Same thing, different year, but I'm going to pivot this, shift through this quicker this time.
Yeah, and this was a real time. So every time before this eclipse and this situation is I've gathered tools not just since being raw, but there have been times that I've done better in my life and not been as sick. And I had been, and I've spoken about this, how I've done things like have hormone replacement. I've decided that that will be a tool I'll use because there are benefits I need. But then sitting on the hormone replacement with an injury just rekindles where I used to be, because I used to be on hormone replacement in my parents' home.
Oh,
But
wow.
I can, and funny, I went back to coffee during just when I got my sore leg because it was helping me deal with the pain. So all these things. But if you don't belt yourself up and say, this is a horrible thing, I've done a horrible thing, I'm a bad person, I'm not perfectly on fruit. If you see it for the strength you have now when you do it, it's like going back down the road as strong Skye. I feel like it was almost like even when I was sick, it was like baby Skye, little Skye. She didn't know what she was doing. She was very helpless and weak. But now I've been very independent and I overcame all my health challenges by myself. And now with the hormone replacement, I'm strong. I know what I'm doing now. That's it. Like you can't have everything you used to have, but there's some things that had become tools. But if I can share anything, it is if there's things that you do, like old habits, like I think having caffeine was a better option than using a lot of heavy pain relief, right? You've got to weigh up the tools you've learned. And when you revisit it, is it really damaging you or are you using it as a tool? Because I found there are
Oh,
tools,
right.
and I think that sits in a higher mindset as well. Everything, like, because people can think they're going to go breatharian, they're going to have juice, and then sorry, they're going to have fruit only, they're going to have liquids, and then they're going to become breatharian, they're going to be yogis and all of this stuff. But I find revisiting the tools with a strength helps me stay more on the plane of earth, and I want to be on earth. Is kind of like that's a big thing for me that's coming up, is I
Oh,
want to be, when you have a lot of fruit or juice, you can become like a yogi, you're very enlightened, but you're not really present. And I spent most of my life
right.
not present. And I've decided I want to be on earth. So there's a few tools that I want to use to stay on earth. Cacao is one of them, actually.
Yes, yes. It's so grounding and so earthy. Yeah. So it's
Sorry.
almost like you want to have that awareness. You want to be present, aware. Because it's true. Sometimes when I'll do fruit and juice, I'm, I feel great. Like I feel
Yes,
so
yes, yes,
good.
yes. Yes.
But I am on a different plane
Yes.
sometimes too. Right. And that brings up another point too, is the so the cacao goes very well with being vegan, being raw vegan. And um sometimes when I'm not raw vegan and I do eat, it does ground my body. And so, I mean, not when I do eat, I do eat. Someone asked me the other day, do you just drink juice? Is that all? But I do eat. But when I eat cooked is what I meant to say. When I eat cooked, like in the evening, I don't do it every night, but it will ground me and it gives me like a different type of sleep, or just, I don't know, I do feel more here sometimes. And
Yes.
and it depends on what I'm going through, or sometimes it depends on
Yes.
the weather. I'll just need that grounding. And then at other times I don't want that at all. I feel more spiritual when I'm all raw.
Yes.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, but it's great to know that we have choices, and there's so many different things we can do for our healing, and like food and the
Yes.
cacao are medicine. Like this is a it's a plant medicine. It's not a
That's right.
hallucinogenic, but it's a medicine to help improve our focus and grounding, like you said.
And that's what I had to realize when I reframed it from going, I went back to coffee to, well, the coffee bean is still a plant and I'm not abusing it. I used it and I'm mindful of the purpose. And it's like the cacao. And I do believe, and I saw Catherine said, I feel like you, Sky, fruits put me in too much of a high vibration. It's hard to function in the 3D. Now, when I needed to heal and get away from earth for a bit because I was getting stuck around doctors, I was getting stuck being sick. I cannot stress how me being very pure raw, like nothing from a packet, everything fresh, was
Yes.
fundamental then. But then the tools I gathered then, and I've heard enlightened people speak about this, is it's Bashar speaks about this, is you need to, when you go up, what you learn up there, if you come back down to earth, you bring what you learn. And as a teacher, as a health coach, as a YouTuber, is I couldn't do what I want to do now if I'm eating just fruit. And that, I'm not saying eating all fruit that is bad. You just be mindful of where you want to be. I'm very happy doing the raw foods and being present, but I'm also, whatever I use, I'm very mindful of its purpose, like, because it's all like the plant medicines. They're
Yes.
strong and they can support you on your journey. So I saw Jen. Oh, she's got some strength. Where do you get the cacao? Does it have to be organic? I usually use Cacao Creations. There's a little pack. We've made a kit, a cacao ceremony kit, and there's a link in there, and you guys can get a discount there. I'd run out today, so I'm using a different brand. I can't think of the brand right now. But Marabella, do you want to talk on it? Because mine's ceremonial
Oh,
grade. I do
sure.
have like powdered and nibs and stuff for making food, but I use
Yes.
this when I drink cacao. I use ceremonial grade. So do you want to talk on that?
Sure. Yeah, I use ceremonial grade cacao as well for the ceremonies and for daily meditations and that type of thing. When I make a smoothie, I'll use the powdered, just because it's easier. And the ceremonial grade, the reason I like it is because it's in its most natural form. It's not been, I think it's been steamed maybe, but not like cooked, not processed as much. So it's healthier, richer, just better. Right now, I'm using Cacao Love, and it is from, I think it ships from England. It ships from England, but that's not where they grow it. And I have used a couple of other different brands. I like to try. I'm trying things out. I don't have my set one just yet. I'm hoping
But it's
to.
fun, right? To try, like,
Yeah, it's
try different brands because they are
yes.
different. They, like, some are creamier, some are more bitter, some are stronger, some are intense. Like, find
Mm-hmm.
what works for you.
Right. Yeah, it's a journey. It's like a journey to finding yourself when you're working with plant medicine or cacao, just finding what is right for you.
I think that's like the whole raw journey is your journey. Everyone's raw journey or health journey or healing journey looks different. So
Right.
you find what suits you. And as we've said, if you want to do juice or tea, or you can do any of
Anything. Right. Yeah, we're just coming into ceremony together and building as we go. And so I want to take us into, if you guys are ready, if you want to, into a meditation. Last month I did a chakra meditation, and this month I want to take us into one that is just so easy that you can do it at any time. I feel like last month was like a difficult month as far as emotions, and it seems like everyone I knew was going through something, and so this can help with that. It's so easy, whether you have health problems or you just want to chill out for a moment. So we'll just put our hands on our hearts, and knowing this is called the 4-part breath. Some of you might know this. And so we're going to inhale to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 4, and hold to the count of 4. And just go ahead and do this 3 more times at your own pace. And when you're finished, just breathe in and out through your nose deeply. You almost want to imagine that your tummy is a balloon. So you're breathing into your tummy. And when you're ready to come back, just open your eyes. And this can be used anytime.
I love that. Breath is so important. It's interesting how we talk so much about food, and food is amazing, but essentially it's all for the breath, right? The body's working so we can get the breath in and the oxygen, and breathing into the gut or the stomach area is so good. It's a good practice to get into. It can help you if you ever get stressed, overwhelmed.
Absolutely. If a stressful moment comes up, do the 4-part breath. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. And you can do it even if you're standing at the grocery store line and you're stressed out because you want to get out of the store, or in everyday life. Easy, so easy.
Mm.
And I keep seeing the number 444. I keep for the past couple of
Oh,
days.
wow. I like that.
So I was
I
like, okay, I'm meant to share this one with you guys.
I'm glad you did. I know one that's helped me since I was a child. I think a psychologist taught me. Oh, no, I read it in like a yoga book, and I've kept it with me. How weird is that? And I still use it. I actually teach people when I coach, if they have sleeping issues, put 2 fingers there,
Oh,
block one side of the nose, breathe
yes.
in and breathe out through your mouth. Then close that side, breathe in through the other side, and then out through the mouth, and then close that side, and then breathe in. And I always fall asleep. It's like, I think it's the switching over of the brain. Dude, you hypnotize
Yes.
yourself off to sleep. But I've actually used that. I remember getting a yoga book as a child, and it was like a breathing technique. And it stayed with me as like a really good one if you need to go to sleep. And before you know it, you'll be like sends you off. So
Yes.
breathing is really amazing.
So important. Yeah, because we forget to breathe, especially when we're stressed out or under pressure. I do anyway. I like clam up, my shoulders come up to here, and I'm stressed.
That's right. And it's
Can't
like,
breathe.
and stress is so linked to those negative words as well. So if every morning we have a
Yes.
practice, whether that's with tea or with juice, where we say kind things, you'll watch your whole posture change. Like, the words are so acidic, and they sit in such low vibrational energy in the body, like disease, like talking to the fluid, like the liquid, like Dr. Emoto, and before you know it, you've manifested disease and your shoulders are uptight and you're all
Mm-hmm.
rigid. So doing practices like nature, getting out in nature, the breathing, saying nice words, they're like that. They hold you in that grounded space to stay healthy. Or they're part of it. It's a whole package.
And so, Skye, when you broke your toe and you were kind of, were you on bed rest? You're on.
Yeah, so I had broken it a month before, but because I think I adapt or go into this like protective mode where I just don't let myself feel it. And I just keep doing more and more exercise to not feel it. Till then, that's when I said I had the coffee to not feel it more. Like I was doing things I used to do to not feel pain, where it's like you'd keep busy, and I was like, and then it got so sore and it was still black and red, and I went to the doctor and he said, you've started to displace it because you're still moving on the break, you're like deforming it, you have to stop for 6 weeks. Now then, like that was like, oh my God. So I had to rest as much as I can, stay off it as much as I can. It's not as sore now. It's been like 3 weeks. So it's doing, since I saw the doctor. So it's doing better. But yeah, essentially like stopping, which I think my body needed. It's funny how I feel like the body will break limbs to make you stop.
Yes.
It will give you the flu. It will do anything to eventually
Yes.
teach you that lesson that you need to know. And I do know mine is um, you don't have to be going all the time. Now, I do have that ADHD type tendency, and you add that to a girl who's missed most of her life, and you never want to stop going. You get energy, and all of a sudden, you just want to keep going, going, going. But a great,
Yes.
valuable lesson is that, and a huge part of health is you need to stop. And that can be even watching a trashy movie, or trashy, I'm saying a trashy movie, like something funny like Bridget Jones's Diary, or something that you don't have to feel guilty for sitting in that space. You don't have to keep going, and don't have to, keep working, keep learning, keep exercising, always pushing yourself. So I've learned to sit in that space, and I feel that that's really important for health. Just another little tool, just collecting the tools. I'm like a little player in a video game, collecting all my tools to get to healthier as I go along. Level
So
up.
you allowed yourself to sit in that space,
Yeah.
allow, and that it can be difficult in that space, but allowing yourself to, that's how you get through it. It.
It Yeah, it is, but there's something I learnt from being at like rock bottom, from sleeping with no home to having no family around you, and that is I can have me and find an ability to be okay no matter where I am. So with love around me, I've got a doctor which has, cared and told me, it's broken. I'm able to rest. I've got a great community around me. I'm winning. I'm
Yes.
definitely not doing things badly. So, it's about then accepting that I always see things as, what am I learning? Like, because I
Yes.
do know, even with all the trauma I've been through, I don't see it really as negative because I learnt so much from it. So I know
Yeah.
it's a learning experience.
Right.
And I have a tendency to see the good in everything. So
Yeah, I really like that. I love that, and when you can shift into that, the what is the lesson for me, it takes your mind off of focusing on the negative. So, and then it's like,
yeah.
okay, so then when you're focusing on the positive, then I think you heal faster.
Oh,
Or
100%.
yeah,
Definitely. And if someone was to say to me, how do you sit in that space all the time where you're happy all the time and you see the good all the time? The key is, what do children do? Make believe. So
yes,
children are, you could leave a child for 4 hours. They might go, I'm bored, I'm this and that. But watch them, especially when they're younger. And whether it's leaves or sticks or toys, if they've got them, they will make believe and find joy. When I've been the most
so
broken and
good.
lost my mind practically, is if you make believe that, even if you're at the front of a hospital in grass, I just make believe that I'm in a garden. I've got
Oh,
nature all around me. What's the difference between, like in Australia, we, at the front of a hospital, there's all flowers like around the front, all Australian flowers. I don't know what it's like everywhere. It's not obviously not the nicest place, but I have a tendency to, it's part of my survival mechanism is the make believe I apply to my environment. So,
yes.
and it can help you manifest too. I mean, just say you like doing podcasts. I mean, when I start setting it up, I can't really tell the difference between doing it for 20 people or imagining there was, I don't know, 20,000. Like I
Wow.
can sit in that space because I make believe and I think part of that spiritual awakening is that you can call it a mental illness, but if you dissociate into the spiritual realm, all things are possible, whether you have nothing or whether you have, look, I'd rather have, in truth, the greatest lesson was like having nothing, dissociating or having a spiritual awakening. If you just say you're a billionaire and you have everything, but you're living in a very dense reality, a very money driven, a very, dense reality, is I would rather have gone through that dark night of the soul, which is hard, is very different from being in like a normal sense of reality. But that make believe you have to apply. So no matter where I am, like in bed again with the broken leg, is I go in my mind, when as a kid was I in bed and loved it? Like, there's a time where you're like, I'm off school, I'm going to put a movie on, might have twisted your ankle or something. I feed in to every good scenario I've had. And if I can't use my own, I will adapt and feed into make believe.
Yes. I similar. I
Oh,
was so shy, just super shy growing up. And so in order to do make videos and things like this and be on like a live YouTube, I'd have to think as a child when I would play make believe, I had 50,000 followers and well, not
yes, you have
this
to.
is just an example like but I would just pretend, okay, I've done this before, I know what I'm doing, I'm a star at this, I'm great, I can do this, I've done this a million times even though I haven't. So I have to do make believe too for certain things, or like think to myself, how would I be in this situation in order to win at this situation? How would I need to be? What do I need to like step into, morph into? Or like my inner child can take care of it. If I give it to her, she
Yes,
steps into whatever she's supposed to be, whatever I'm supposed to be. So
I mean,
similar.
it is. And the other one I use, a really good one, is love songs. And I end up
Oh,
crying sometimes, is I sing them to myself, as in like I'm holding Skye, who I adore, when she was very sick, or Skye, who still had lots of energy and was bubbly as a child. I'm constantly singing like love songs like
yeah.
I would do everything for you. You're the reason I'm still here. I fight daily for you. If you apply the most romantic songs to yourself, you'll get so far. But I constantly do this, and raw foods is perfect for this because you have a lot of electrical power. So if you want to, you can call it manifest or make believe, dissociation, spiritual awakening, is you want to set up your podcast thinking you have 20,000, 200,000 followers. You don't want to go, oh, I hope only 2 people turn up. I don't want anyone there. I'm like setting up for a big performance, whether whether it's 20 people or whether one day it's 200,000, is I'm constantly in make believe, and raw foods
Yes.
frees up your mind, gives you less anxiety, lets you make believe. I love this. We should do a podcast
Yes.
on make believe. I
We
love
really
it.
should. We should do maybe the next
It's
full
like,
moon will be on make believe, or we could do a separate one on make believe. Let's
yeah,
do it.
it,
Yeah.
it definitely,
Yeah.
it's like I've never actually spoken about it, I guess, because I guess I don't know. 2 reasons. I think I didn't really know whether anybody else did it. Like I know people talk a lot about manifesting and slipping your mind into it, but the actual start or the seed of that was when I was probably the most broken, to realize, when my mind was very free, to realize it, like Skye. I remember being at the front of the hospital and getting stick. 'Cause, I mean, I was in psychiatric hospitals for a long period of time. You get little breaks out the front. Is it even get sticks and put them in the center like a fire? Like I was literally make believe, because
Yeah.
you'd go crazier than I was, but that skill of make believe, I think people try and run away from, because as children we want to be grown-ups, and then we're like, got to get pay the bills, we've got to, all this dense stuff. But truly, like, I feel like that helped me get well, and it's the reason I think I've manifested the life I love.
100%. Yes, because when we're children, they try to close it down by standing in lines at school and sitting in your seat and being quiet, all these things. I think schools are better now, but that's why one of the reasons I chose to homeschool my son from middle school to all the way through high school is because I wanted him to like be himself, like not be a carbon copy of someone else or what someone else is making him. And I wanted him to use his imagination and make believe too, because, they would go to school and then they would be on their computers or on the games and things like that. And there was no time for make believe. And make believe is so important. It's gotten me by too, like my self talk or like how I'm going to show up in a room, how I'm going to show up in the world. I
Yes.
make believe at first a lot of the time. I think about what it's going to be like when I get there, how I'm going to be treated, all these things. I don't so much necessarily need to do that as much anymore, but I used to do that. I mean, all the time because I was so shy. I was very, had social anxiety. And so in order to show up how I wanted to, I would have to make believe.
Yeah.
At the same time being genuine. I wanted to be genuine, but
But I think that you have to remember, like, make believe as a child. Like, when I think back, it was like you'd put on your favorite song and you dance and imagining you're, I don't know, on TV or in front of lots of people. There's
yeah.
no there's no malice to it. Like that, it's not like it's like you're sitting there manifesting make believe something awful, or like it's because it's such a positive experience, like, or like I think maybe when you're really little you're a princess, or and it's
Yes.
coming from source. Like, kids are so close to source.
Yes.
It's literally, they've come out. And if you sit in a space, and because parents are like, stop doing that, don't go there, because they're trying to keep in line with society and they're shutting down make believe, right? But if you sit in a space, especially with a young kid, say around 3 or 4, and you let them lead for the day,
Oh,
see where
yeah.
you end up, because they're
Yeah.
closest to source. They're
Right.
like, they're coming from pure heart. We're coming from, like, we've been kind of controlled and manipulated and learnt things, but they're just coming from, I see that, I want that. Oh, imagine if I built a town, and if you can
Yes.
connect to that as an adult, and you're probably not aware that you do it anymore, because it's probably part of your daily, like, because I feel like half of what I do sits in make believe, because I live alone. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's part of me now, and I love that. Like, well, it's part of source, still being like that inner child and connected to source.
Limitless. It's
Yes,
freedom
I
and
love that.
limitless. Yes.
It
So
is.
good. Yes.
It definitely is. So I was also going to share. We are going to do, so next month for the full moon, the week before. Or no, yeah, let's do it the week before. We're going to get on a live on YouTube and explain how you, is it clear or clean your crystals, or sync them with the
Yes.
moon?
How to charge them.
Charge them. That's it. Get
Uh-huh.
the energy from them, from
Mm-hmm.
the moon,
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
moon.
So, we'll talk about a couple different ways, but because we do these full moon ceremonies, charging out in the moon is one way. You can charge in the sunlight as well, but you have to be really careful if it's an amethyst or something, they can fade. And also they can charge by just being in a room full of music. Like if you're dancing and you turn up the music, your crystals can kind of charge. We are made of mostly water, but crystals are at the same resonance. But sometimes people get a crystal and they program it for a reason. Maybe they want to manifest something in their life. So they will like program it, or sometimes crystals, if they've been outside and then been from person to person to person, they can pick up um,
Energies.
the energies. Yeah. So if you place it out in the moon, then it's absorbing the moon light and it gives balance back to the crystal. Some crystals too you can put in your water. You know how we were talking about writing messages on our water, like love or whatever,
Yep.
and then the water takes on the energy of that what we wrote on the glass. Well, you
Mm.
can put certain crystals in the water too.
Yeah,
So you want to
I've
make
seen
sure that
that.
it's
I've
before
also
you do that.
I've
Oh
also
yeah.
seen people do this is how because crystal is like set, right? Is whereas well, I mean it's still in motion, but it's more set. Everything
Yeah.
else is very like humans are
Like
very
we're
fluid.
fluid. We're so
Yeah, we're
full of water
fluid.
that we're up and down our
Yeah,
emotions, and crystals
push
are more.
pull.
Yeah. And crystals are like the same every day. But, when you go to pick up a crystal from a crystal store, um, there's a ton of energy on it from the owner of the previous crystal or just people touching it. And so you might want to clear it, have it be balanced before you,
Oh,
or just maybe your household has gone through some stress, so you might want to put your crystals out to just have them rebalance.
I love that. I've seen recently people do water art. Water, I don't exactly know how this works. So they get certain water and they put water over photos and then
Oh,
they freeze the water and the water takes on the picture. Have you seen this?
wow. I haven't seen
It's
that.
it's like we because we get so stuck that everything's kind of like not fluid, but everything
Yeah.
is like live and connecting and fluid and we want to talk about it and we want to talk about the moon and the electricity that it brings and the energy that it gives us and
Yeah.
yeah. All
Right.
right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Marabella.
Yeah, thank you. This was so much fun. Oh my goodness.
I know it was so much fun. I can't wait till next month. So we will post when next month's is on and go live, and you can join us and bring your cacao or your tea or your water or your
Yeah.
whatever you like. Yeah.
Anything.
Until then, we'll see you then.
Yes, we'll see you then. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Namaste. Bye.
Namaste. Bye.
Bye.